Hello out there, we're on the air, it's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice. The goalie jumps and the players bump and the fans all go insane. Someone roars, Bobby scores at the good old hockey game. Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Coming up on this Wednesday edition of the Faceoff, a very important partnership is formed. Some outdoor games are going to be played next year. And what can you expect when a player decides to go all out and just go against everything that critics have been saying against him?
The puck inside, it's a 1-1 hockey game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday edition of KXSC's The Faceoff, USC's only weekly radio hockey show. This is part of KXSC's 24-hour programming as part of KXSC's fundraiser. We put the fun in fundraiser. To find out more about KXSC's fundraiser, log on to kxsc.org/fundraiser. I'm your host, Graham Jacobs, and let's begin the show by discussing some news that came around yesterday around the NHL. Among the biggest casualties of the lockout this year, was the Winter Classic that was supposed to take place at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and featured the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yesterday, the NHL announced that not only will the Winter Classic take place at the Big House on New Year's Day in 2014 between the Maple Leafs and Red Wings, but that they will also have 6 total outdoor games next season. The games set to take place next season in the winter of 2014 are the Winter Classic between the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Anaheim Ducks versus Los Angeles Kings on January 25th at Dodger Stadium, New Jersey Devils versus New York Rangers on January 26th at Yankee Stadium, New York Islanders versus New York Rangers on January 29th at Yankee Stadium, Pittsburgh Penguins versus Chicago Blackhawks on March 1st at Soldier Field, and the Ottawa Senators versus Vancouver Canucks on March 2nd at BC Place. Now let's just look at some significance from this schedule. The New York Rangers are going to get 2 outdoor games of the 6 that are going to be played next season. The Super Bowl will be held at MetLife Stadium on February 2nd, 2014, in East Rutherford, New Jersey next year. So it's possible that the NHL wants to build off the buzz created by the Super Bowl to, in turn, further increase exposure to the NHL, especially after a season where half the season was lost. Now, another interesting note is Anaheim and Los Angeles are going to be playing an outdoor game at Dodger Stadium. A lot of people question whether or not ice would stay frozen in Southern California weather, since it's usually sunny and nowhere close to freezing temperature. But ESPN LA's Arash Markazi suggests that that's not going to be a problem, actually. He points out, this yesterday, he wrote on Twitter that the indoor temperature in Staples Center is 65 degrees on average, and that the average high in Los Angeles in January is also 65 degrees, with the average low being around 49. Now, I was curious as to why the game is taking place at Dodger Stadium instead of Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where it's a bigger venue, because the Coliseum could seat over 93,000 people, whereas Dodger Stadium seats around 56,000, which is granted a lot of people, nonetheless. The NHL could have gotten a lot more ticket revenue if the game were to be held at Los Angeles Coliseum. I'm just going to purely speculate as to why the Coliseum wasn't chosen. The Coliseum doesn't have luxury suites, which will not meet standards required for an NHL venue. This was actually a bit of a problem in the 90s when San Jose was constructing HP Pavilion, then at the time known as San Jose Arena, because it was initially constructed and they did not include a press box and luxury suites, but this wasn't discovered until after they were in the middle of building it. So, yeah, luxury suites and a press box is required for an NHL venue. Michigan Stadium, the college stadium that's going to host the Winter Classic next year, does have luxury boxes and therefore meets that standard. This is, again, pure speculation as to why the Coliseum does not have the NHL an outdoor game in Los Angeles next year. It's also possible that the NHL asked if they could use the Coliseum and the Coliseum said no, which is It's likely, but I don't know at this point. I would personally like to know if the NHL considered having the game at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and odds are I probably will never know, though. Now, the Ottawa Senators Vancouver Canucks game that's going to be played outdoors at BC Place will be the Heritage Classic matchup next season. This is the first time either team has participated in an outdoor game, or it will be. BC Place was recently renovated, has a retractable roof, so it'll count as an outdoor game. It'll be the third Heritage Classic altogether, the second one that has been a full-fledged NHL event. The first one was just between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary. No, it was in Edmonton. It was not an NHL sponsored thing. It was just for fun, or it was an actual game, but it wasn't a full-fledged NHL event. The first Heritage Classic since 2011 will be this game, and that 2011 game featured the Calgary Flames and Montreal Canadiens in McMahon Stadium. Calgary won that game 5-0. And also, in the outdoor games in New York, despite being geographically closer to the Bronx, the New York Rangers are going to be the visiting team for both games that they play at Yankee Stadium. Logically, you would think that they would host at least one of those outdoor games at the stadium, but to be visitors to both? Interesting. This is also pure speculation. I don't know if they're going to wear special jerseys to this or not, but if they are, the NHL is possibly losing money, and the NHL and the Rangers are possibly losing money on potential jersey sales should they make special jerseys for this game. In Chicago, for their outdoor game, it will be the second outdoor game hosted in the city, with Wrigley Field hosting the second Winter Classic in 2009 between the Blackhawks and Red Wings. The Red Wings ultimately won that game. Southside Chicago now gets a chance to host the game. Chicago will be playing in an outdoor game for the second time, and Pittsburgh, that's who they're going to be playing at Soldier Field, will be playing in an outdoor game for the third time. Having the Winter Classic take place in Michigan Stadium, though, will be a huge hit. It seats over 109,000 people, but it's capable of seating 114,000 people. The game between Michigan and Michigan State, otherwise known as the Big Chill, was at the Big House, and it was just a huge success. And this game, it's going to be Detroit and Toronto. These are two rabid fan bases, so you know people are going to show up to that. Now, something that was brought up was, does 6 games cheapen the novelty that is the Winter Classic? You can argue yes, because there's only supposed to be one game that is played outdoors per year, and that everybody can look forward to it. But you can also argue no, because it gives more teams a chance to play in outdoor games, especially with revamped divisions. Minnesota will likely have one next year. I'm speculating on this because of revamped divisions. There's a possibility between in the future, hopefully, the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild, because it's going to feature the old team that used to play in Minnesota, the North Stars, now the Dallas Stars, obviously, and against the Minnesota Wild. And trust me when I say this, there are a lot of people in Minnesota that still hate Norm Green. January 1st, it's going to be great because it'll once again feature 2 of the greatest sporting events in history, the Rose Bowl and the Winter Classic. And a year after, and especially after half of the season is gone, it's going to be great to finally see the Winter Classic back. Coming up next, a major announcement forming a major partnership is going to prove to be a very good thing for the NHL in the coming seasons.